They claimed this wasn't a humanitarian mission to save the Iraqi people from Saddam, or one to secure access to Iraq's rich oil reserves.
My fellow citizens, at this hour, American and coalition forces are in the early stages of military operations to disarm Iraq, to free its people, and to defend the world from grave danger.
The president stood before the world and presented an intelligence report from the CIA that proved Saddam had weapons of mass destruction and that he was intent on using them. Fast forward 2 years, and we all now know that no weapons of mass destruction have ever been found in Iraq. The CIA either made a massive intelligence mistake, or it chose to sex up its estimate to give Bush the war he wanted. The story is still unfolding. Scott Ritter, a UN chief weapons inspector who worked in Iraq before the war, maintains the CIA knew that Saddam had disarmed, but that they chose to ignore the facts.
Weapons of mass destruction was a fantasy. We had accounted for the production equipment, we had accounted for the spare parts, we had accounted for the missiles. And yet when I briefed the CIA, they rejected it. They said that our work was flawed because it relied upon statements made by Iraqi officials that couldn't be trusted. The CIA said there were up to 200 missiles left in Iraq. We found nothing. It didn't matter what the facts were. They had no intention of allowing the inspectors ever to determine that Iraq had complied with its obligation to disarm.
The CIA turned to weapons expert Robert Gallucci to analyze their intelligence for them.
I thought that there was a very good case, even a conclusive case, that Iraq had regenerated its programs in chemical weapons and biological weapons. I came to that conclusion, I think, based on assumptions about Iraqi intentions. Saddam was still there. Capabilities, scientists were still there. Time, opportunity, been 4 years without inspectors.
The way in which the intelligence services looked at the Saddam Hussein regime was as the type of regime that lied about whether it had weapons of mass destruction or not. Consequently, they interpreted almost every bit of information which seemed to suggest that he might have as being information showing that he did have.
They didn't have somebody inside their regime at a high enough level who knew exactly what the truth was. And it was all satellite images. It was all guys who'd escaped 10 years earlier. The information wasn't new enough. The information wasn't hard enough.
The CIA made serious errors when analyzing the intelligence coming out of Iraq before the war.
What we had is the CIA lying, cheating, and deceiving the American people itself for the benefit of the president. And that's a violation of the moral compass of the CIA, if there is indeed a moral compass at the CIA. This is wrong.
Nowhere in the CIA's program does it say, "Thou shalt tell the big boss that which he wishes to hear." And if that is what the CIA now does, then they can boil it down to one person. You just hire a yes man. He can walk around telling you what you want to hear.
Making intelligence mistakes is one thing, but many argue that George Tenet, the CIA director, fixed the WMD report to back up President Bush in his drive to go to war with Iraq.
Let's come in here and say thank you.
There's no way the director of the CIA could have believed any of the intelligence information they had out there that there were weapons of mass destruction in Iraq. If he believed it, he was incompetent.
The whole world now knows how massively the CIA got it wrong on WMD. Trust in the CIA is at an all-time low.
The next time any Western politician says, "Believe me, I've got these really cool secret documents that say that there's a bad guy out there and we've got to go get him," I mean, he'll be out of office the next day. I mean, it's now the most comical lie you can tell in politics.
Even people with goodwill say, yeah, look, everyone agreed he had WMD, but you still made a mistake Why should we believe you this time? Whether this time is North Korea, whether it's Iran, whether it's something around the corner that they're trying to look at that's going to come up and bite us, whatever it is, people are going to be even more sceptical than they always have been.